The Tower of Babel stands as one of the most iconic narratives in biblical tradition, found in Genesis 11 verses 1 to 9. This story recounts a pivotal moment in ancient history when humanity still spoke a single language. Motivated by ambition and a desire for greatness, people in the land of Shinar, modern-day Mesopotamia, now Iraq, decided to construct a monumental tower that would reach the heavens. But what deeper meaning does this tale carry? What lessons can we extract about human ambition, unity, and divine authority? The symbolism of the tower. The Tower of Babel is more than a physical structure. It symbolizes human unity in its challenges when rooted in pride and defiance of divine authority. The builders sought to make a name for themselves, reflecting humanity's yearning for glory, independence, and immortality. This desire was not aligned with God's will, highlighting the tension between human ambition and divine sovereignty. Why did humanity, unified in language and purpose, direct its collective efforts toward a project that defied God's authority? Could this represent a universal pattern of human behavior, seeking greatness while disregarding spiritual purpose? Babel, a name of confusion. The name Babel derives from the Hebrew word Baal, meaning confusion, symbolizing God's intervention to disrupt the project. By introducing diverse languages, God scattered the people across the earth, fulfilling His command to populate and diversify the world. This act, though seemingly punitive, also laid the foundation for the rich tapestry of cultures and nations we see today. Does this scattering suggest a divine preference for diversity over uniformity? Could the division of languages and cultures be seen as a way to enrich humanity rather than merely as a punishment? The link to Babylon. The story of Babel is often associated with Babylon, one of the most influential civilizations of antiquity. Known for its grandeur, cultural achievements, and religious practices, Babylon also became a symbol of human pride and opposition to God. The Ziggurat of Enki, a massive step temple dedicated to Marduk, bears striking similarities to the biblical description of the Tower of Babel. Archaeological evidence, including inscriptions from Babylonian kings like Nebuchadnezzar II, reveals ongoing efforts to build towering structures to reach the heavens. Could the historical ziggurats of Mesopotamia have inspired the biblical account? How might this connection shape our understanding of the narrative as both historical and symbolic? Lessons from the Tower. The narrative conveys profound theological and historical insights. It underscores the fragility of human efforts when disconnected from divine guidance. The builders' pride and self-sufficiency led to their downfall, emphasizing that true greatness comes not from opposing God but aligning with His purposes. Moreover, the story highlights humanity's persistent struggle with pride. From Babel to the fall of Lucifer, to myths like Icarus in Greek mythology, the theme of overreaching ambition leading to downfall recurs across cultures. Could this shared motif reflect the universal truth about human nature? Cultural and spiritual resonance. The Tower of Babel continues to inspire discussions in theology, literature, and art. Today, Babel is often used as a metaphor for confusion, disarray, or the richness of diversity. The narrative's message remains relevant in a world grappling with unity and division. What does the story teach us about the balance between human ambition and humility? How can we celebrate diversity without losing sight of shared purpose? Final reflections. The Tower of Babel serves as a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration. It challenges us to consider the motives behind our collective endeavors. Are we building towers in our lives to glorify ourselves, or are we seeking to fulfill a higher purpose? The story's timeless lessons invite reflection on how humanity can harness its unity and creativity to honor, rather than defy, the divine. What modern parallels can we draw to the Tower of Babel? In a globalized world, where communication and unity are easier than ever, How can we avoid the pitfalls of pride and division? The story of the Tower of Babel is a profound narrative that reveals humanity's enduring struggle with pride, ambition, and the quest for self-glorification. It reflects humanity's longing for immortality and permanence, symbolized by the construction of a monumental structure designed to defy time itself. In their effort to create a tower reaching the heavens, the builders sought to establish an eternal legacy, hoping their names and achievements would resonate through the ages. But was their ambition rooted in a sincere pursuit of God, or was it an expression of self-centered pride? Rather than aiming to fulfill God's will, the builders of Babel embarked on a project fueled by the desire to elevate their own glory. This was not merely an architectural feat but a symbolic attempt to attain divinity through human effort, disregarding the need for humility and submission to divine authority. This mindset reflects the arrogance of trying to transcend moral limitations through material accomplishments, a recurring theme in human history. How does this ancient narrative resonate with modern ambitions? Do our own goals sometimes mirror the pride and self-reliance seen in Babel? Are we building our towers to glorify ourselves rather than align with a higher purpose? The Bible contrasts this human effort with the kingdom of God, which is described as descending from heaven as a divine gift. While the Tower of Babel symbolized a bottom-up attempt to reach God through human effort, true communion with God is depicted as an act of grace, as exemplified in the life and mission of Jesus Christ. The Gospel of John emphasizes this, stating, "No one has ascended into heaven except the one who descended from heaven, the Son of Man." This highlights that the path to God is not achieved through human striving but is initiated by God Himself. Interestingly, the story of Babel finds a powerful counterpoint in the New Testament at Pentecost. At Babel, God confounded human languages to disperse people and thwart their prideful plans. At Pentecost, however, God enabled the apostles to speak in various tongues, uniting people of diverse nations under the message of the gospel. This striking reversal illustrates that unity and understanding come not through human ambition but through divine intervention. How often do we seek unity on our own terms, ignoring the need for a foundation rooted in God's will? Historically, the ambition to transcend human limits has manifested in various civilizations, such as the Egyptians with their pyramids, built as symbols of immortality and divine connection. These monumental structures mirrored the human desire to conquer mortality and forge a link to the divine. Yet, like Babel, they highlight the futility of such efforts when disconnected from humility and dependence on God. The narrative also underscores the dangers of unchecked pride and self-sufficiency. God's intervention to confuse the languages of Babel was not merely punitive but an act of mercy, preventing humanity from pursuing a path of self-destruction. The resulting diversity of languages and cultures, while challenging, enriched human experience and fulfilled God's command to fill the earth. How does this tension between unity and diversity play out in our lives today? Are we using our gifts to glorify God and embrace the richness of human diversity, or are we caught in pursuits of personal greatness that isolate us from others and from God? Archaeological discoveries, such as the ruins of the ziggurat of Enki in Babylon, offer fascinating insights into the possible historical roots of the Babel story. Scholars like Herodotus and ancient texts from Mesopotamia provide evidence of massive, tiered structures dedicated to gods like Marduk, illustrating humanity's long-standing drive to connect with the divine through monumental architecture. Yet, these efforts, like Babel, ultimately served as reminders of human limitation and the futility of prideful ambition. The lesson of Babel extends beyond history. It challenges us to reflect on our motives and ambitions. Are we striving to exalt ourselves, or are we seeking to align our goals with God's purpose? Are we building towers for our own glory, or are we inviting God to be the foundation of our endeavors? Pentecost offers hope and redemption, showing that God can transform human division into divine unity. Where Babel brought confusion, Pentecost brought understanding, uniting people from diverse backgrounds in a shared message of love and salvation. This event reminds us that true unity is not built on human ambition but on the grace and power of God. In reflecting on Babel, let us ask ourselves, are our ambitions glorifying God or exalting ourselves? Are we open to submitting our plans to His will, trusting that true greatness comes not from prideful striving but from humble service and dependence on Him? The story invites us to seek God's guidance in all our efforts, ensuring that our lives are centered on His purpose and glory. What towers are you building in your life today? Are they grounded in God's grace and love, or are they monuments to self? By aligning our plans with His, we can find a deeper purpose and lasting peace, becoming instruments of His unity and redemption in a divided world.